Alrighty, I really hope it's daytime wherever you're watching this because the camera is extremely overexposed. I can't do anything about it because the window back there is just bright. It turns out the sun actually puts off a lot of light. Anyway, they put out a dev note. I've already seen a little bit of people talking about it. I did watch a little bit of Nagato's video on it, and apparently they are buffing Bon, which is a very interesting thing. Obviously, I was more in the camp that he didn't necessarily need to be buffed, but he could potentially get better with new support that comes out or anything. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I didn't want him to get buffed or anything. Obviously, he was a little bit lackluster. He was not necessarily like the front runner when it comes to modern festival characters or anything. So why would I complain when I already have the character with no extra spending? I basically get a better unit. So at the end of the day, that's pretty much all it takes. So we're going to be reading over this dev note. They have already released it in English as well, like they've done the global side of it, which is pretty much what I was hoping for, but sometimes they end up taking like several days and everything. From my understanding, they are publishing this sort of buff patch and everything for him on the 8th for the JP servers, which is their next patch day. So I assume we will probably get it on the 12th. So just to give you some sort of time frame. If you're newer to the channel or anything like that, feel free to subscribe. We are on the road to 15K. We're actually doing really, really well lately because of all of the, new subscribers and everything, and all of the, I guess hype around the game because of the big festivals and collabs and stuff like that. So I do appreciate it a lot. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. But let's get into this thing. So, greetings night. It's PD Koo from the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. We have received feedback regarding the 7 Deadly Sins Transcendent Bond, and we would like to share future changes for the new hero in this quick dev note. So this isn't necessarily, it's weird that they're calling this a dev note, because I guess it is technically, but when I think of dev note, it's them going over changes that they plan on making for like multiple things throughout the year, or like the next few months or so, whereas this feels just like like them addressing an issue. But I guess it is what it is. Transcendent Bond, who was released as the 4th anniversary festival hero, was developed with the goal of helping to rotate and improve the meta. I'll be honest, I really don't go up against a whole lot of people using Transcendent Bond, and the only other team that I go up against, as you can imagine, is Demons. So he did not do the greatest job of really diversifying the meta at the moment. Angels have pretty much completely dropped off. They really need to release some sort of like Holy Relic or something for Light Liz or something to really bring that team back into the meta, because it's crazy that he was the most recent, or Mael was the most recent festival, and he's already sort of dropped off. Bond's kit and unique ability was designed to take down a key enemy from the start of the match and turn the tables on the opponent. However, since in a turn-based game, taking down a key enemy first provides a huge advantage to the player, we wanted to counterbalance that by adding some conditions for this effect to activate and keeping some of the risk for maintaining the effect. Imagine that. You try to make a balanced unit to go up against other unbalanced units, and he doesn't perform very well. Very odd how that works. I think this is just them getting shot in the foot from making melee so insane. Like, what do you expect when you make these characters who have 45 passives in one, and then you release Bond, and you're like, it's time to make a balanced unit? Like, what did you expect, really? I mean, honestly. So, either way, having said that, we have received feedback that the hero's kit makes him difficult to use and that he does not live up to the standards of the festival hero of this scale. We have taken all your feedback and re-investigated the win rate and usage rate of the new festival hero. So, according to our findings, we found that players of a lower level have more difficulty utilizing Transcendent Bond in battle and have lower win rates as well. So, it seems like what they're saying is if you're not a top whale who has a maxed out ultimate and you can't ult rush with him, you might not win the game. And so, I'm saying this very satirically, but at the same time, I was having quite a lot of fun with the Bond. I think that he's a really fun character, but obviously he has a lot of shortcomings and he can fall off insanely fast in a match after, 1 or 2 turns if you either don't draw his cards or you're running other support characters with him instead of, because if you rely on him as the main DPS, you're gonna get destroyed. There is no debating that. Like, he really can't hold his own with 2 single target attacks against an entire team of enemies, as the main damage dealer, because, you need both cards to kill. there's 3 to 4 characters that you have to deal with. That just doesn't really add up, you know what I mean? Based on these findings, we have decided to improve Transcendent Bond's kit so that he will be able to live up to his original development goal and status as the 4th Anniversary Festival hero. During this time, we have processed and we have proceeded with discussions to finish buffing and improving some flaws in Transcendent Bond's kit. These improvements will be implemented in the game during the Grand Cross Festival event period. Okay, so they're just saying that it comes out during the festival, which if it didn't, that'd be incredibly dumb. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that bad considering they're telling us that they're buffing him, but at the same time, that's a no-brainer. You need to buff him while he's available. The improvements we plan to implement for Transcendent Bond are as follows. Okay, so first and most importantly, in order to make it easier for players of lower rank to utilize Bond in battle, we plan on buffing Bond by adjusting ultimate skill-related scaling for lower ultimate levels. So, if you're unaware, he does have this really stupid part of his ultimate move, which acts as a passive during regular gameplay. It has nothing to do with the ultimate. They just made it to where, hey, we're going to make it like an Escanor almost with his final flame stacks. We're going to make this part of the passive or the ultimate a passive instead, and it's going to scale depending on the ultimate level, which makes it incredibly more pay to win. Not a huge fan of that, obviously. I don't think anybody should be. That's a really stupid concept considering they can already monetize these characters in so many different ways. At least with the old festivals, it was like, hey, if you want to ult rush, you're going to have higher ults, or if you just want to rely on your ultimate to win, higher ult level, or you just want to go for more CC, higher ult level, whereas now you're not even getting the full character if you're not fully ult leveled, so that's really stupid. In addition, Bond's core kit of applying debuffs on the enemy will be improved so that the Mark of Concentration debuff will not immediately be removed for a certain number of turns. So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, it doesn't help the most, I guess, because depending on your card RNG, you might still not draw the cards that you need, but what they're saying is once you put on the Mark of Concentration debuff with the Pierce card, it shouldn't immediately go away after using the Snipe card. You should be able to, I guess it's just going to last for probably 2 turns or 3 turns, depending on what level it is. I don't imagine they're going to change that part of the passive, but maybe they will, or maybe the card, not the passive. So we'll kind of have to see how that works, I guess. I mean, that's kind of nice if you draw if you use the Pierce card and you draw a bunch of Snipe cards or whatever, and you don't end up drawing another Pierce card. But ideally, I thought the whole point was that you would combo into a kill, but with them, extending it to where it doesn't take the Mark of Concentration away, it sounds almost like they're just wanting you to apply it and then hit them multiple times, which, I mean, I guess is fair. Like, you're not always going to be guaranteed to kill or anything, but I don't know. It is what it is. This will allow Bond's skills to be more widely utilized. Okay, so we'll just kind of have to see how that goes. I don't know if they're planning on doing any sort of stats or anything like that, but he does have some pretty weird stats. His crit chance is like 101%, which is very weird. That's incredibly, I mean, I don't want to say incredibly low, but I think Ultimate Escanor, who came out 6 months ago, his is like 131 or something, so he's missing a pretty decent chunk of crit chance there. If you're unaware, Death Pierce's passive lowers crit chance and crit resistance. No, it's not crit chance. It's crit resistance, crit defense by 30%. So 30% is a decent cut that he's missing there. I think his Pierce rate is also kind of atrocious. Not 100% sure. That's just what I've heard. Haven't really looked at it, and I don't know great stat stuff off the top of my head. So, furthermore, Bond's survivability will be buffed to provide additional opportunities in unfavorable battles. So if you're going second, you might be able to actually survive 1 turn. Lastly, we will be improving Bond's freedom regarding team comps and synergy with other heroes. So this is a really huge one. Everybody was pretty much expecting Bond to come out as a human character, obviously, and they were wanting him to be fitting into the human team. We've gotten some decent human characters lately. There are a lot of other human characters that just, in general, should kind of fit the bill to run with Bond and everything. Like the new Roxy would be great, Excalibur Arthur and stuff like that, which they still technically work with him, but he doesn't get any benefit from them being on the team because he's so selfish with the 7 deadly sins buffing his stats and stuff like that, which genuinely doesn't really make that big of a difference because it literally is only buffing your HP related stats, which is very odd. Actually, is it a little bit more than that? I want to say it might be. Yeah, it's just HP related stats, right? It's not, he doesn't get like any sort of basic stats or anything, I don't think. But that also means that if you're running other characters besides Sins, they aren't applying his debuff from his passive, which is also not very good. So this should hopefully alleviate that a little bit. So human comps coming soon. I've honestly had a lot of fun using just different kinds of like Sins comps and everything. So I guess I'm just gonna have more to play with, really. So I'm kind of happy about that. We are aware that changing heroes kits could have an impact on players' trust in us, which is why we have come to the decision only after extensive deliberations, so I guess that's fair. I mean, honestly, you know, buffing and debuffing characters' kits and stuff like that can definitely be super controversial. I don't think anybody's going to complain too much that this character is getting a buff, considering how many people I've personally seen in my comments and stuff like that talking about how, you know, mediocre and bad he is. I don't think he's bad. He's definitely not festival level, and it's unfortunate because this is a really big milestone for the game, 4th year anniversary. They were hitting it out of the park, man. They were doing so well. They were like, yeah, we're gonna release this insane patch. We've got LRs ready. We've got all this cool stuff. And then LRs take too long so far. Bond wasn't great, and people were like, hey, you know, is this really supposed to compete with you know, Black Clover coming out? But I don't know. It seems like they're trying to work on it. I do kind of hope that they adjust the system for LRs at the moment because it takes forever. But like I said, we don't have the full like details on that yet either, so we're gonna have to just kind of wait and see how that pans out. Anyways, however, we realized that Transcendent Bond's release did not meet our Knight's expectations and promise that in the future we will continue to maintain an especially high standard for the festival heroes. That scares me because I don't want them to get the idea that every single character that comes out has to be like absolutely broken. I was gonna use the F word. But you know, because whenever Purgatory Bond came out, for example, everyone ran Purgatory Bond. You could not go into PvP and find any other team besides Purgatory Bond up until Margaret came out, and she was kind of sort of a counter, and then Cusack also came out with that same festival. That was a dark time, don't talk about it. But those two characters in general were just pretty good at fighting the Bond meta. But he was absolutely rampant. I don't want them to release new characters and then just like every single person in the game is forced to use that character. It doesn't make any sense. Like, demons are so relevant right now because Meliodas is so good. They really screwed up by making him as good as he was. I almost wish he was nerfed, but obviously it's way too late for that. They're just going to have to make characters even more broken to compete with him, which is really stupid. That's going to power creep the game even more. I know that, I don't know. I'm not a game designer or anything, but that seems like common sense to me. The changes are currently under testing, and we will do the best I cannot read. We will do the best so that these improvements will be implemented in the game by the 6.12 maintenance update, which is what I was talking about earlier. That is pretty much the exact same date. We will provide additional information regarding the improvements in the future update notice. We'll continue to do our best to provide you with the better gaming experience. We'll implement a more extensive testing process to ensure we continue providing you with a better gaming experience. I wonder if they only test characters on like a completely maxed out account. I really do, because whenever they show characters off on the live streams and everything like that, they're always on an account that has like 9,000 gems and it's already got every single costume unlocked, and you know, the ultimate level's maxed out, and like I don't know what their constellations are or anything like that on those accounts, but they were showing off Bond with 70k CC. If not, it might have been 71. I can't remember, but I think even like most whale players and stuff, like they're not quite on the same level that they were showing him off as. Like, I mean, I did play, the video came out today where I was using Gon's 15 million box CC account, and I mean, it was pretty, he was really high, like he was really built, but at the same time, like if that's the standard of character, you know, testing that they're doing, then obviously they're not going to get the full story and realize that, hey, you know, this passive that we built into the ultimate isn't working quite well for lower level players. Like, no-brainer, you know what I mean? So either way, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this thing, because I definitely think it's very interesting. A lot of people were pretty unhappy with Bond overall, so I'm kind of interested to see how it works. Really, really glad, mostly, and I think most importantly, about the fact that they're going to expand his team comps, because using it with humans could be really fun. But obviously the kit getting buffed as well is a big plus. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will have another video out later today, because I've been just doing 2 videos a day. I had to push the other one back a little bit, so that way this one doesn't get completely overshadowed. But yeah, I thought it was worth talking about. So thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you have not already. I will see you guys later on.